Straight into it, because there is so much to unpack from today's episode, and honestly, by the end of this video you are going to understand exactly why fans are calling Msolisai's mother one of the most difficult mothers-in-law on South African television right now. The episode opens with tension already thick in the air between Khethiwe and Msolisai, and it is clear from the very first scene that things between them have reached a breaking point. Msolisai finally sits Khethiwe down for a serious conversation, and instead of standing up for her the way many viewers were hoping he would, he reminds her that his mother is still his mother, and that nothing she says or does will change that bond. For Khethiwe, this feels like a betrayal, because she has spent so much energy trying to be accepted into this family, only to be told, once again, that her husband will always choose his mother's side first. What makes this scene so powerful is how relatable it is. Anyone who has ever dealt with a difficult in-law knows that feeling of being caught between loyalty and love, and Kwababa does an excellent job of showing both sides of the argument without painting either character as purely right or purely wrong. Msolisai's love for his mother is genuine, and there is something almost admirable about a son who refuses to abandon his parent, but at the same time, viewers can clearly see that his mother is using that loyalty as a weapon. She is not simply asking for respect, she is demanding control, and she seems to want Khethiwe to become nothing more than a domestic wife who exists to serve the household rather than build a life alongside her husband. Khethiwe, understandably, refuses to accept that role, and this refusal is what continues to fuel the conflict episode after episode. One thing that a lot of viewers have been discussing is why Msolisai continues to rely so heavily on Dumoni as his go-between whenever family negotiations come up. Even after everything that has happened, Msolisai still trusts Dumoni to handle sensitive discussions with his family, including asking him to negotiate a proper date for the lobola process to move forward. This decision has left many fans frustrated, because Dumoni has proven time and time again that he cannot always be trusted to act purely in Msolisai's best interest. Still, Msolisai seems determined to keep him close, insisting that once Khethiwe officially becomes part of the Makai's family, she should simply appreciate everything that comes with it, rather than resist the traditions being placed on her. It is a stubborn stance, and it is clear the writers are setting up more conflict from this decision rather than resolving anything soon. Meanwhile, the episode shifts focus to Zwelithini, and this is where things get really dramatic. Zwelithini's own uncle is standing firmly against his plans to marry Bahumi, and the reasoning behind this objection goes far deeper than simple family disapproval. According to the family elders, there is a generational curse connected to the men in Zwelithini's bloodline, tied to a traditional calabash, known as ukamba, that has been used in previous ceremonies. The belief is that whoever drinks from this particular vessel during a marriage ritual will be unable to bear children who can carry on the family name, and every attempt at marriage in Zwelithini's family line so far has ended in failure. It's a heavy piece of cultural storytelling, and it adds a layer of suspense to Zwelithini and Bahumi's relationship that goes beyond the usual family politics we're used to seeing. What's interesting is that the calabash being used now looks identical to the one blamed for the earlier failures, which raises a big question for viewers. Is this really the same cursed ukamba, or is this simply another coincidence being used to create drama? The show has left this deliberately ambiguous, and it's clear they want the audience debating it in the comments, which, let's be honest, is exactly what's happening online right now. Some fans believe the resemblance is too exact to be a coincidence, while others think the family elders are simply projecting old fears onto a new situation because they are struggling to accept Bahumi as part of the family. Either way, this storyline is quickly becoming one of the most talked about elements of the entire season. Adding even more weight to this plot is the reveal about Zwelithini's grandfather. Throughout the episode, there are strong hints that his grandfather was not the honorable man the family has always portrayed him to be. Instead, whispers and side comments suggest a much darker history, one filled with betrayal and dishonesty that has never been properly addressed within the family. If this history comes fully to light, it could completely reshape how the audience views the so-called curse, because it may turn out that the real problem was never spiritual at all, but instead a family secret that has simply been passed down and disguised as tradition. This is the kind of twist that keeps longtime viewers hooked, because it hints that eventually, one of Zweliki's own sons might be the one to finally break the cycle, which would be an incredibly satisfying payoff if the writers choose to go in that direction. Now let's talk about Bahumi, because her situation is honestly heartbreaking. Her parents have made it very clear that they are placing enormous pressure on her regarding this marriage, and it feels like every decision she makes is being scrutinized by everyone around her. The idea that she is expected to marry into a family with such a complicated and painful history, all while her own parents push their expectations onto her, sets up a serious emotional conflict that we can expect to see play out over the coming weeks. Bahumi is stuck in the middle, much like Khethiwe, forced to navigate love, tradition, and family pressure all at the same time, and it really shows how the show continues to explore the theme of women being caught between personal happiness and cultural obligation. Cindy's storyline also takes a significant turn in this episode. It has been building for a while, but today we finally get some clarity on what's really going on with her. She is expected to open up about the truth soon, particularly regarding the ongoing tension around whether she genuinely wants to be part of a negotiated marriage or if she feels forced into pretending everything is fine. This sets the stage for what fans are already predicting will be a massive confrontation, especially once it becomes clear that Cindy never actually wanted to be negotiated for in the first place. The emotional weight of this reveal is going to hit hard, especially for viewers who have been rooting for her to find her own voice within a family structure that often overlooks what she wants. Then there's the Mackay's family drama involving New Zealandile, and this part of the episode honestly left a lot of fans in shock. For a while now, we've seen hints about New Zealandile's uncertain family background, especially the questions surrounding whether she truly belongs to the Mackay surname at all. Her aunt, who took her in after her parents passed away, has never been fully transparent about the circumstances surrounding that decision, and there have even been troubling suggestions that her aunt exploited her rather than genuinely caring for her as family should. This backstory adds so much depth to New Zealandile's character, because it explains a lot about her guarded personality and her constant need to prove herself worthy of belonging somewhere. Unfortunately, today's episode ends on an incredibly tense note for her. After everything she has been carrying, both emotionally and physically, New Zealandile collapses, and it is revealed that she has suffered what appears to be a stroke. This moment completely shifts the tone of the episode, pulling the focus away from the lighter family disputes and grounding everything in a much more serious, real-world crisis. Watching her collapse in the middle of all this unresolved family tension is a gut punch, especially knowing how much she has already been through simply trying to find her place within the Mackay's family. This health scare also puts even more pressure on the already delayed lobola negotiations. Viewers will remember that the original lobola ceremony for New Zealandile did not go smoothly, and it was ultimately halted because it came out that her mother had never been properly and traditionally married into the family in the first place. According to the family's understanding of Zulu customs, this unresolved issue needs to be addressed and corrected before New Zealandile's own marriage negotiations can move forward. It's a complicated situation, layered with tradition, family honor, and generational responsibility, and now with her sudden collapse, everything feels even more urgent and uncertain than before. There is also a subplot involving Zweliki attempting to intimidate certain family members regarding a child, and the storyline hints that his own father may have been far more manipulative and dishonest than anyone previously realized. Each time new information comes to light, it seems to reveal another layer of deception buried deep within this family's history, and it's becoming increasingly clear that almost everyone connected to Zweliki's bloodline has been affected in some way by these hidden truths. His father continues attempting to smooth things over and stop Zweliki from confronting these issues directly, but it feels like only a matter of time before everything comes crashing out into the open. By the end of the episode, despite everyone's warnings, fears, and unresolved tensions, we learn that the wedding between Bahumi and Zweliki is still set to move forward. Whether this decision is wise or reckless is something fans are going to be debating heavily until the next episode airs, especially given everything we now know about the family curse, the questionable calabash, and the grandfather's murky past. It really does feel like the show is setting up a massive confrontation, one that could completely unravel the Mackay's family's carefully maintained image. Honestly, this episode did an amazing job of balancing multiple storylines without making any of them feel rushed. From Khethiwe's ongoing struggle to be respected as more than just a domestic wife, to Bahumi being caught between her parents' expectations and the terrifying possibility of a generational curse, to Yuzelindale's shocking collapse right as a family history comes under intense scrutiny, there is so much happening that it's honestly hard to predict where things go next. What stands out most is how the show continues to use these personal family conflicts to explore much bigger themes, things like tradition versus individual choice, loyalty versus self-respect, and the way generational secrets can quietly shape entire families without anyone fully realizing it until it's almost too late. As always, I want to know what you think. Do you believe Msolisai's mother is being unfair to Khethiwe, or do you think Khethiwe needs to be more understanding of the family she is marrying into? Do you think the calabash curse is real, or is this simply an excuse the family elders are using to avoid accepting Bahumi? And most importantly, what do you think is going to happen to Yuzelindale after this collapse, especially with the Lobola situation still